Hello everyone, welcome to the third iteration of our orchid room. Right on time for our 5th year anniversary of posting on YouTube, and we are finally mostly finished with setting up our orchids in our new house. This might not be the most exciting video, but we still wanted to show you the new setup.
Before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support us further with a tip, we also have a super thanks button active on the channel. We also had thought of making a video celebrating being on YouTube for 5 years and growing orchids for 10 years now. We even asked you in another video for some Q&A questions. If you have suggestions on what we should make that video like, or any more questions for us to answer, leave it in the comment section below.
So we were planning to keep most of our orchids in this enclosed balcony space. We needed a balcony also for the washing machine and laundry, so what we did was ask a contractor to close it off in half. And now we have a laundry room part that's accessible through the kitchen, and the orchid part that we opened up into our office by removing the doors. We chose the same furniture we have in our office, the IKEA EVAR modular system. But for the balcony we opted for the 50 cm deep shelves, so we could fit as much of the orchids here as possible. We were lucky that this part of the house has pretty big windows, so light won't be a problem. Still, we do have cloudier days here, and we had already had ground lights from the other house, so we decided to install them here too.
After deciding that, I realized we didn't have enough of the Barrinas for the new shelves, so I ordered some more of the yellow ones and a pack of 4 of the 5000K ones to try them out. So now in the shelves where we placed our higher light orchids, our Vandas, Cattleyas and Dendrobiums, we have yellow Barrinas, the bluish Barrinas, and our old kitchen 4000K lights that we already had. And of course the gigantic windows. So now there's no way any of these plants can't flower due to lack of light.
After assembling everything, we packed all the orchids in the car, twice, made the 45-minute journey to their new home, and started deciding on how to organize them on the shelves.
The shelves on the right are the ones that receive the most natural light, so that's where we're keeping most of the highlight orchids. We started with the Cattleyas on top, since I'll need a ladder to get up there and they don't need as much water. At least that's what I tell myself whenever I don't have the will to climb up a ladder to water them. The next shelf under are all our mini Cattleyas and Rupiculus Lilias. I think they look absolutely adorable all together like this, don't you think?
Next we have the Vandas and Young Rackhams. All these shelves so far also have the 5000K bluish Barrinas to supplement light, just in case we get weeks and weeks of gray days, as can often happen around here. Thankfully, we always liked smaller Vanda species, so we could fit them all in the shelves.
Except for the huge Aerides we have. I'm considering keeping just a keiki of this monster and shipping the rest to my mother. I mean, she is technically hanging in the window just as she was in the old house, but in this small space it just seems so much bigger.
We are also toying with the idea of hanging it in our open balcony on the other side of the house. We might try it after the summer so it can acclimate, first to lower winter temperatures and then to more sun in the summer.
On the last shelf on this side, we placed the Bulbophyllums and the Paphiopedilums. This lower shelf gets less natural light, so we picked lower light orchids. Behind these shelves, we installed a double tap and a waste exit, so we could have an RO system. As I have mentioned before, the water here is super hard. We even have to use a Brita filter for drinking, and my hair now looks like a Hermione Granger cosplay. So it was very unsuitable for the orchids. The RO has been working great so far. It takes about 3 hours to fill this 12-liter foldable bucket. We got the double tap, just in case we ever want to use some normal water. I have been alternating between using pure RO water with fertilizer and RO water mixed with a tap, specially for houseplants. Now, on to the other side.
We picked the tallest possible shelves, but didn't consider the ceiling is lower in the balcony, so we had to lower the shelves for the Oncidiums. We are already planning on keeping the Oncidiums in the highest shelves, because they are the messiest looking orchids ever, so we started repotting them into self-watering last year. Since Oncidiums like to be moist, I don't think that will be a problem. The top shelves need a ladder to water properly, so the least we have to water them, the better. We also use the Sunzy puck lights to supplement them with light up there. One shelf down, we placed all the smaller Oncidiums and Oncidium-related plants, like the Tolumnias. Then we have our Maxillarias and Dendrobiums, and we placed one of the extra bluish Barina lights here, since these species really like highlight. And this side doesn't get as much direct sun as the opposite wall. It's still probably overkill on the lights, but I rather that than wait around for things to bloom and then realize they don't have enough light, like it happened years ago with our first setup.
Under there we have our miscellaneous species, our Catasetums, Schisis, Gastrochyllus, even the vanilla. I'm thinking maybe the vanilla can climb the furniture for now, while we don't really have concrete plans for her. I got the vanilla as a gift from my mother, who can grow it outside, and I really couldn't resist keeping a cutting for myself. On the last shelf here, I have some Phalaenopsis species for now, but I'll probably leave that shelf in case I run out of space in the other ones. Once I started filling the balcony, we quickly realized most of the Phalaenopsis wouldn't fit here, so we decided to place them in the office. It does make sense because they are the ones that require the least light.
Also, as an orchid that tends to bend, they are more suited for the shelves we have in the office, that are only 30 centimeters deep. We didn't film setting these up, but for this side we installed only the kitchen lights and the Barinas. It's still more than the Phalaenopsis had in our other house, since we used to grow them just with the kitchen lights in whatever reached them from the window. But because of this half vault that separates the office from the balcony, this room is actually darker, and that's why we invested in the extra lights.
I keep the big complex hybrids in the tallest shelves, using the same logic I used for the Cattleyas. And if I ever want more space, I can always place them on top of the furniture, because the ceilings here are a bit taller, so they would fit. Turns out, when we moved here, I thought I'd have a lot less room for the orchids and I'd have to reduce the collection, but so far not only they all fit, we still have a little room to grow. I still think I will be focusing a lot more on small species and miniatures though. I think they'll look much better on these shelves. And they are a fun new challenge.
The mounts are the one thing that we had to compromise somewhat. For now, they are hanging on this side of the furniture, and that works great for them, but we can't see them very well. So we might be potting up those that are easy to do so, like the Leptodus. The Calocista, the Paraphalaenopsis and the Brassivola I think will have to stay mounted, because we can't think of a better way to display them. This giant Dendrobium is still hanging up here, because we can't think of a better way to keep it.
Another orchid I don't really know what to do with is this huge Epidendrum nocturnum. It's too tall for the shelves, and it would look pretty awkward hanging in the windows like the Aerides. But I really don't want to get rid of it. I really love the flowers, so for now, it sits in this little corner, hoping it gets enough light from the windows.
In terms of temperature, we were expecting milder temperatures than what we had before. This is a coastal town, known for being temperate and gloomy, so we thought we might even be able to grow some lower temperature orchids. But the problem with gigantic windows is lots of sun, and as soon as we had our first sunny days here, the temperatures shot up. There's only direct sun in the mornings, but it's still enough that the temperatures easily go up to 27 degrees, so we are getting some reflector blinds installed to try and help with that.
The humidity has also thrown us for a loop. This is a very humid place. Jay grew up coming here often, and hatred for how humid it is seems to be the common denominator for all small talk here. So we have been potting a collection in Les Sphagnum, and we even put our humidifier in storage. But in the spring, with sunnier days, immediately the smart hygrometers we have started sending notifications that the humidity was lower than 50%. We had to go dig out the old humidifier out of storage and everything. The only place we had for it would be in the Oncidium tallest shelf, but then the mist in this device shoots straight up, and it was mostly just hitting the ceiling, so not a good thing. We ended up installing a fan right behind it to push the mist stream down, and that seems to do a good job in raising humidity without leaving our ceilings all moldy. Weirdly enough, now that we are entering summer, the humidity has stabilized at 65% every day, even with open windows. So we're still gonna leave the humidifier up there, and we set up automations to make it turn on whenever it's necessary.
Isa mentioned it in another video, but we also weren't expecting the amount of fungus gnats we're getting. As the humidity lowers when it's sunny, it also goes way up when it rains, and I think we'll need some air movement in here. The big smart fan we had in the other house won't reach the taller shelves, and it's too big for the small space, so we've placed another clip-on fan on the shelves to help with the air movement.
I also made the stupid mistake of letting all our Pinguiculus die because I was too overwhelmed to take proper care of them, and now they would have been really handy for the fungus gnats. I ordered some more carnivorous, but I'm pretty sure I got scammed, and if what arrived in the mail even survives, it won't be catching any fungus gnats anytime soon. I also made a second order that I will be showing off in a separate video.
I do have to say that maybe it's because they were so terribly neglected in the other house, and now here they're being watered and repotted and all that. But the orchids do seem a lot happier here. As soon as they got here, we noticed new growing tips, new flower spikes, less yellow leaves.
It also helps that I've been furiously repotting them. I think I did almost 50 repots the first month we were here, and I still have plenty more to do still.
We hope you enjoyed this video and seeing our new setup. I know it's not that different than what we had before, but you don't mess with a winning team, right? If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like and come back next week. Goodbye.